Hey y'all, it's your girl Sia, and I'm back with another video. So y'all, hope you guys had a wonderful Monday. I had, to be honest with you guys, if I'm looking at the life I created for myself, well, I guess I created that too, but minus the situation with my daughter's father, I've had a really great day, to be honest. I am actually beginning to like my job, and I think it's very cool. So it's crazy because I'm having to establish boundaries with this individual, but I'm also realizing it helps to, like, I'm communicating with people my fucking age, bro. And so it's so cool. It's like before I told you guys I was constantly managing, I felt like was old people. And then you're still dealing with young people who haven't really risen to the occasion yet, right? Whatever that is in their life. So it was very difficult where I was, I feel like, to be able to express myself and it not be received in a weird way. I'm also realizing obviously a lot of Spanish people are conservative. I'm conservative too, but I think some of my expressions are not as liberal or excuse me, not as conservative as they could be. Whereas where I'm at now, I'm realizing that I mean, it's a firm, so it runs very quietly. You have your people, like I said, there are people that I never talk to that I work and probably sit right next to, but that's just their personalities, right? And it's so funny to me how, again, because I was listening to this girl and she said, well, I just think I'm, extroverted and it's because I'm happy. And I'm thinking, well, these folks are really quiet. They're really introverted. So I thought I was an introvert, but I'm not as introvert. And I think that confuses people. Like, I'm introvert on some days, I'm extrovert on others. So, like today, I walked in, I told the girl, because I had to brace myself, man, I got to have my coffee with dealing with this girl. She sits literally right next to me. And actually, I told you guys, I do love her personality. And I love it the more I'm realizing how down to earth she is. See, it's very interesting when you're dealing with different types of people and when they actually go through hard things in life, whatever that may be to them, a lot of them are more receptive to understanding other people, right? And so something she said, she was like, because we were talking about nice people and people who are super bubbly. I can be bubbly, but it's only once I've worked up to that. Like, I'm not the girl. I love to sleep. Okay. Anybody who knows anything about a Pisces. Okay. And I'm telling you now, I get what people say about signs and oh, that shit's fake. But when it comes to a Pisces, that shit, for the most part, except when you're dealing with haters, you have to deal with a person that's not biased. You are dealing with genuine traits of a Pisces. And I don't know if that's like that for every sign, but that's what we are. And even our negative traits, let me tell you something, a Pisces can drown if they do not learn how to transmute their negative traits into more positive traits, right? So you always have that scale. Like I say, life is all about balance, right? And so when you're dealing with negative traits, maybe I don't know what it is, but I don't, this is not what I was talking about. So bear with me, y'all, because I'm not going to give y'all an example. Y'all going to have to figure it out. Looking within self and ask, what negative traits do I have? Understand that there is a positive trait on the other spectrum, right? So if you look at it, it's like this. You know how when people say your weaknesses become your strength and your strengths can be your weaknesses? It literally. So if you figure out, if you're, I don't know that anger is a negative trait, but if you say that anger is a negative trait, well, what's the opposite? Happy. So how do you find a way to get closer to the middle? It's literally that simple. But a lot of people, I don't know that if a lot, like I said, I had to study and I'm still studying, I'm still learning. I've slowed down in my studies a lot because I'm working, right? And I actually have a career, like, it's weird because it's weird how life works for you sometimes and works against you at times, because I feel like it's all a teaching lesson, or a moment, right? And so in this situation, I feel like I have a weakness. I don't know that I actually do, but I'm just saying, in terms of dealing with this individual, her highs are so highs, bro. Like, I feel like, girl, bring it back down. So I'm always gonna be that side of folks that brings them right back down to reality. Like, you could be floating on cloud nine, bitch. I'm gonna bring you back down to cloud 12. Or no, that doesn't work. Cloud, okay, cloud 8, and I'm gonna bring you back down to cloud 4. Okay, I'm always that person. Like, I'm never gonna give you more than what I feel like I can give, right? So this morning, well, that's a lie, but this morning I walked in, I said good morning, and in my mind I had prepared this, but not really, right? But I prepared it, I thought about it, and I told her, I said this is all you gonna get. And she said, oh, okay. I love how she plays it right back. Well, I think she's just being her. I just be fucking with her, man. Because I'm like, bitch, get out my face. Like, I'm still very much what I say, but I can do it in a manner that's not gonna make you feel uncomfortable. Like, I'm gonna laugh and you gonna laugh because you know who you are. like, it ain't my job. And that's how I was at the other place. It's just you're dealing with sensitive men, and men are sensitive, and anything you say, especially when you're dealing with conservatism. So what I was thinking of conservatism meant, a woman stays in her place, hence the words too much about that girl, because I'm just never been, right? So we're in this office and I'm just talking shit to her, but I'm not, like, it's in the nicest way as I can, right? But I'm direct too. I know a lot of people are sitting there like, damn, bitch. Because I don't know that nobody calls, I'm just me, okay? And so we were talking, and the girl goes on to say, she's so funny, because I laugh for different reasons, but I am laughing with her because she's silly. Like, she'll pull shit out of the air and it works. She's witty. I'll give her that. That's why I laugh with her, because it's funny to me. So this girl told me today that, because we were talking, right? And she goes, well, yeah, and we're talking about how happy people are super happy. So, because it's just funny, everything that I've already told you guys in other lives. But she's like, we're talking about situations where people are overly happy, right? And then for others, it's like, I'm gonna need you to come back to ground zero, bitch. And I have a perfect story of that, where my mom had did something to someone at like 4 o'clock in the morning just to fuck with them. Because in her mind, she was like, bitch, you too, you like, I'm up, but I'm up because I gotta be up. I'm not up because it was 4 in the morning. And my mom called me to say happy birthday, right? And so she tells me that the lady who answered the phone at the time was way too chipper for her at 4 o'clock in the fucking morning. Now, I know the lady. I know that her personality is really like this and high and da da da. That may not be her facial expression, but that was her tone. Okay. So understand that my mom, being from the East Coast, was like, bitch, I'm up. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Meanwhile, it's 4 here and it's 6 there, right? So my mom is like, it's way too early for this bullshit. So she said, and just in case she's a little bit upset, I had to just so you know, like, giving me a warning. She was like, I had to put a little salt in her day. Now, I don't think my mom cursed her out, but I'm pretty sure I didn't know what that meant until I got older. But what she was saying was, I had to bring her back down, right? And so we're talking about this. Keep in mind, she brought it up and she was talking about it from her angle in her life, right? And so when we're talking about it, I told her, because she starts describing the other person, and she's like, they're a little bit fussy. And I said, well, girl, if I ever become fussy with you, I said, just so you know, don't take it personal, damn it. And she was like, I don't, okay, but just so she knows, like, I know from what I can feel, she means no harm. right? And this is as of right now. We'll see how this transpires, whatever, 6 months down the line. But as of right now, I do not feel a threat to my well being, right? And so, and when I mean that, I mean overall. And so I know she's genuinely who she is, and she's really just who she is, right? And so with that, her and I kind of banter back and forth. She be trying to get me to banter more, but I'm like, girl, we be talking. Listen, the owner want to make sure we doing our jobs. I don't want to over talk. We the only ones that talk. You know what I mean? Everybody else is quiet outside of the new people coming in. So it was more of getting where you fit, and I'm starting to realize we're more extrovert. I probably am. But then again, we be sitting in the office where you can hear pin needles drop. And so I'm more extrovert at times. But I'm really liking the vibes, right? Even the new person, I was like, yeah, he's a black man. But honestly, I'm like, you're because I haven't really interacted with black men since 2020, to be honest with you. That's just the truth. It's been a minute. Um, I well, that's a lie. I got male friends that I talk to, but I don't. When I say friends, I mean like they're like, I hate that I have to explain myself, but y'all know what I mean. I got black male friends that I talk to. Maybe my dad here and there, right? I do got family that are black men, that I talk to every now and then. But for the most part, I don't really talk to black men, right? I don't engage in relations with black men. I don't deal with them, right? I've not had one that was mature enough and respectful enough to actually approach me and deserve my attention, right? And not to say that they don't come, it's just not my focus, right? If one comes, he comes. If he don't, he don't, right? That's just where I'm at in my life. Um, but with that being said, this individual, I'm starting to realize, okay, he asked a lot of questions, and I'm trying to be polite and patient because I'm in a work setting. Maybe he's just being friendly. Like, I'm trying to give this individual the benefit of the doubt, but that's more to cover my ass, not really his, right? And in my mind, I'm like, I have to have a balance with that. So that's been very interesting because I don't do a lot of questions from it, right? Because now I'm starting to feel like uncomfortable. So now it's weird. So, but he's friendly and it's good questions. He be asking not questions that readily annoy me. These are good questions. He turned around and said, "You know what? I like your hair." And I said, "Thank you." And as a black man, then everybody was like, "Oh, yeah, 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 I like your hair," which was so funny because I'm like, whatever, y'all just hate. But I don't even know that it even mattered to get a compliment. But the fact that he noticed, it was like, "Oh, you're a black man." Because I'm always used to being the only black woman. I'm always used to being the only black person. Okay. The last black male that I worked with on a professional setting, this was in corporate on a team, he was younger than me, and I'm pretty sure he swings the other way. So that was easy. That was easy to embark upon because it was like my friend. And no offense, I was coming in new and he was training me. Now I'm dealing with it the opposite. I feel like I have a little, and I could be wrong because who knows, right? You can get fired at any time. I'm not trying to put my, you know, trying to act like I'm better than anybody else because that's not the case. I'm definitely still learning. But what I've come to learn, what I seen today was I'm pretty sure my boss knows I'm working. If that makes sense. And I'm realizing why it was so important in the beginning to ask for work because the folks who don't seem to have a lot of work, it also appears like they're not doing a lot of work. And so the owner, we're talking, I think it was a little bit more chit chat than he's probably used to. And we're talking, and because he's asking questions and I'm answering them. I don't want to be rude because it's allowed to everybody, so I'm answering them. And the owner comes out today and he's, starts asking people where they at in their work. The owner didn't ask me where I was at in my work, but I have experience with putting work as priority. Like I have experience with doing work, um and knowing, okay, I've got this deadline, so I've got to get on this now. Meaning that the level of work they had given us is a lot of work. It is, right? But at the same time, I know that if you're telling me this is priority and I have very little work, I'm gonna jump on it because I need work to do. I'm not about to be sitting at work not doing shit. Like that's not really my thing. Like I'm not the girl. If I'm gonna be here, use me, please, because otherwise I get bored. And when I get bored, I quit. It's really that simple. So if you give me work, that's what you're paying me for. Don't have me sit because I could be sitting around at home. That's how I see it. So this individual, and I'm realizing like I'm very much me. This person won't know that I'm the way that I am until it's too late, right? Hopefully they don't, they understand and they pay attention. But as far as all the talking back and forth, they learned today that that's not the best look, right? Because you're in a professional setting. This is not a call center. It is a professional setting, which means that there's a time for banter and there's a time not. And if you're going to banter, then you don't do so from across the room. You come over to the person and you talk to them, right? And every now and then you'll have those times where you get loud or whatever, but it should not be a consistent thing. Meaning that I should not be asked questions from across the room 24/7, right? About personal shit. Okay. But I like the fact of having another black person there because they get me. But the problem with me is I know that in order for, and it's sad, but in order to continue to be able to move up the way that I need to move up, I have to carry my image a certain way and not get too close, not too chatty, stuff like that. And I know it sounds crazy, but unfortunately, it is what it is. Until it's black folks running the goddamn show, as a black person, I don't mind chatting with black folks, right? But it's all in how you carry yourself. So I'm still really obsessed, not obsessing, observing the person too, right? I'm still learning this person. It's like you got to show me that you're this person because I refuse to go down with you. It ain't happening. And if he succeeds, cool, right? But I'm watching. But other than that, y'all, I do like my position. I keep saying this more and more because I'm realizing that I actually know what I'm doing. Some of it I don't know because some of it I haven't had to do at this magnitude, right? I lean on other resources to get things done. And so it's good to have this knowledge. So if I ever had to go in manually and do certain things, cool. But for the most part, it's like I was questioning myself. I think that's the reason why you go to a firm is because you want to make sure you're doing shit right. You want to make sure that if I go off and do my own thing, I'm doing X, Y, and Z exactly like how they're doing it. So when the return comes back, it ain't gonna look no different, right? Essentially. So I think that's what a lot of people, like I said, because I learned on my own, because I taught myself, because I went through my certifications by myself, I didn't have that confirmation yet that I could do it. And now I'm starting to get it like, girl, you can really do it, right? I know I can. I feel it in my gut that I can. Um, as far as, my situation with my daughter's father, y'all, that still ain't changed. And it sucks because I want to be able to be the girl to be able to express to everybody how I feel. And the problem is, I know that nobody cares, right? At the end of the day, can't nobody fix it. People may care, but they can't fix it. And so I feel like half the time I'm just sitting around holding on to shit that I shouldn't even have to be holding on to, right? I shouldn't even have to feel these feelings. These are things that I be telling myself. I mean, technically, yes, in the sense that I probably should have just said, you know what, I'm gonna do this on my own and do it on my own. But there's no way I would have known what I know now. Like, there's no possible way. I didn't have anybody to teach me what I know now. And I damn sure didn't know that my life would be what it is now. That's a whole, you know what I mean? Like, that I would even, it was like where I'm at now was a dream. Now I'm dreaming to get to somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like, it was one of those things where I was like, dang, I really want to see myself here. And it's like I'm here, but I don't know that I was specific enough. So I want to go somewhere else because I'm at a level now where it's like, okay, you're bored. I'm no longer feel like I'm the shit. I need to go higher so I can really feel like I'm the shit. And that's how it's always gonna be, I guess, apparently, until I settle on what I want to settle on. But I ain't figured that out yet. I just know the sky's the limit. So um I hate feeling sad and then you feel guilty. The fucked up. See, I hate. Okay, I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say. Um, but part of being a parent, you feel guilty, right? You feel like, damn, I didn't really want things to go this way. And the sad thing is, I would prefer to pick her up this weekend. I would really love to have my kiddo with me. But it's like, in order to ensure that certain things don't happen again, I've got to really make it stick. And if I do not make an effect, the kid will. And I'm hoping to God it don't last for very long. She's probably mad and all in her feelings. Or she could have been moved on by now. Ain't no telling. But the reality is, I know that kid is smart. I know that she ain't just thinking about it from one side. Now, what side she settles on to make herself feel comfortable at the moment is a whole nother conversation. But she does ponder both sides of things, right? And in my thought process, it's like, maybe I know that I'm going to have to move, unfortunately, in a way that is much tougher, in my opinion, than tough love, right? I don't know that I'm gonna go all out to be like, you know what, 10 minutes, I'm, away, and then I don't know that I'm gonna do that because I prefer it not to happen to me. But at the same time, I'm gonna have to get a bit strategic in my next pickup, because I need it to be clear that this is not okay. Like, you're not going to be playing with my time like this. It just isn't an option, ma'am. You going to have to figure it out. Okay. And if your daddy can't, you going to have to be mature enough to figure it out. And I think part of it sucks because the kid is having to grow up, I think, in ways that she doesn't seem to understand, but I also think she's a bit behind in ways, and that's what I was, other people have, also stated too, in terms of the emotional aspect of things. Um, I hope, my biggest fear, I think, sometimes, as much as I get upset, is my relationship with my kid. Like, I don't like to be in situations like this, but I'm not a pushover. I think we have established this. I feel like at this point in the situation, we should all know this. Like, everybody should be walking with a level of respect for the sake of the child. And the fact that we're still doing this shit, it's like, clearly this ain't never gonna change. And in order for it to change, it's gonna have to hurt some people's pockets. It's gonna have to hurt some people's need to want to, or want to be alone. It's gonna have to affect people in ways that I don't want to have to go, but it's gotta go there, because People, like I said, they'll only treat you as far as you allow them. And if I'm sitting here talking to you and communicating with you, I'm not being rude. Obviously, I'm upset, but you can handle the heat if you stepped into the kitchen. Like, I just feel like if you can't handle it, why even dish some shit? Why even do some shit? So if I'm upset and I'm letting you know, hey, this is what I need from you, I would think that that's fair game. Like, it's not like I'm asking you for money. I'm not asking you for shit. I've never asked this man for a goddamn dime. I'm not asking you for your time, your interest in me. I don't even give a fuck what you do. Ain't that crazy? The same shit they be saying baby mamas don't do. I'm the baby mama that don't give a fuck, my friend. But all I ask for is respect. And that seems to be the most difficult thing that some individuals can ever give somebody. That seems to be the most valuable thing that people just don't understand. Like, they just don't get. So they don't get me for popping off, because I will pop off. Don't get it twisted. I'm going to let you know right then and there, especially when I don't have respect for you. And I ain't never denied not having respect for the fool, but I can pretend it for the sake of the kid. I can ensure that things run smoothly so that there's no extra nonsense involved. I at least got some sense in that capacity. This individual don't got shit. And it makes it so difficult to want to, when you get to a certain point in life mentally. I'm at a point where it's like, I really, as much as I love my child, is this really worth it? Like, but then I think about the future. I don't know what the future holds, and I don't even know if the thinking about the future is the right thing to do. Then I start thinking about my kid and decisions and how kids perceive things and what I would perceive if I was in those shoes. Keep in mind, I've been in something similar. Then I'm reminding myself that I'm me, but there's no guarantee that my kid will be me, right? So these are all thought processes that I be having, bro. Like, it's crazy. I think both sides at the same time. I'm trying to see her side and possibly what she could be thinking at the same time of what I know and I feel. That is a hard battle, because what I know and I feel, regardless of what she's thinking or feeling, I'm like, I don't know that I can, I just don't know what the answer is. It's hard to co-parent with people who consistently make it difficult for you to co-parent. And the reality of the circumstances, I don't. Like, I have all the freedom in the sense that I'm not tied down to somebody. I got a kid, but I also live in a state where I don't necessarily always agree with the policies, right? I want to be able to travel, I think, right? I want to be able to live my life. And so if she's not with me 24/7 or even close or even, then it don't make much sense, in my opinion, to build my life around that. And the more I'm going through situations, and you got to understand, trauma builds up. It does. It's not like when a person is traumatized, you ain't gonna be able to walk in and be like, I'm sorry, and walk out. Like, you gonna have to really show and prove. Like, it's a whole process to really building and regaining trust with somebody. This ain't shit that happens overnight. So if you're moving back in old ways, I have to think ahead, pay attention. Like, that's why I'm always on alert, always paying attention when I'm dealing with this person, always very calculated when I'm dealing with this individual. And I have thought this through and through, but I recognize that I am somebody that is somebody. I'm somebody that is worth beefing with, that is worth taking her kid from. I am somebody. I don't know who, but I'm somebody that's clearly worth it. right? I'm worth all the mean energy and the negative energy because, again, they can make it about the kid, but it's really about me. So, poor kid, like, I be sitting there looking like, how y'all make me the center focus of y'all shit, right? And so, if the focus is on me so much, I'm almost wondering what would happen if I really backed out. What would happen? And I'm not even saying that to be arrogant or cocky, but at this point, we have to acknowledge a spade is a fucking spade, bro. And if I'm such the center focus to the point where folks are plotting and doing things because they've been thinking about me all week, right? Like, that says a lot about me. Like, that's a compliment. Now, it ain't a compliment not to make me want to go ahead and just do some things to some people because I'm gonna tell you now, like I said, I'll be daydreaming. I'll be dreaming, man. I'll be dreaming. I know another me in another earth did some things, is all I can say. I know that the outcome, the way that I feel about shit, that like people don't be knowing that I be really going through shit to the point where I'm really deep down low key kind of angry. Like, and this is a situation that is hurtful, but it pisses like, and that's the right word. I'm sorry I use that word so much, but that is the right word. It pees me off. Okay. But I have to, it's not even that I have to go around smiling. It's like out of sight, out of mind. I try to like put it out of my mind as much as possible. Okay. And it hurts more now because it's recent and it's like, are we really doing this? So now I have to re-question my entire relationship with my kid because is this worth it? Is going down this road a second time worth it? Now, I tell you now, as long as I could go through it emotionally and or handle my emotions throughout the bullshit, that may be different, right? But I'm almost like, you know what, now that I think about it, I'm like, maybe I could play the game. Financially, I can play the game. That's the game we playing. I can play. You ain't saying nothing to a fucking, whatever. But if this is a space where you're making mistakes and you're making poor choices, and I can one up you in them and not try to one up you, but y'all get what I'm saying, like catch you making poor choices, maybe then I could probably get my kid. But to establish it to my kid because of the support that she gets from doing anything in any old kind of way, and nobody calls her out on how she does things. I do because I'm the mom, so I'm going to be on your ass about every fucking thing that you can fucking think of. But if I think it's important for the future, you gonna hear about it. Um, but in that situation, in order to teach her that you have to give someone a heads up, because clearly my words weren't working. I'm definitely gonna move the way I need to move. This weekend I'm gonna let them have their Father's Day. Honestly, if they end up going to California, he's gonna have all the weekend. That's why I'm saying the greed is ridiculous, right? You're taking my time from me. It's not like you're not gonna have that time in the future. But to just take my time and not conversate with me about it, that ain't cool. So 9 times out of 10, I probably won't see my daughter until probably about August. When August comes around or just before August and she's feeling like, oh, I want to hang out with my mom. Oh, yeah, I forgot about my mom. I want to see my mom. That's when she'll find a way to hit me up. And at that time, I'm going to be very adamant about what I expect. Now, they're going to, and I'm telling you guys now, this is how this is going to go down. Dad is going to ask me questions as if like I'm gonna have to really break it down for him in kindergarten terms, right? and then he's going to do what I say for the rest of the school year. But that's because I would think, in my opinion, this is what I'm thinking, is the rest of the school year, technically, if I can get my Fridays back, the time would be mandatory. It's almost like at that point there's a third party involved. This is really what I feel. So I'm trying to get my mind mentally used to the fact that I probably won't have my kid for the next few weeks. And I'm okay with that. But I'm also really in that space of, do I really want to keep dealing with shit like this? Like, if I let this shit go, it's gonna keep happening. We ain't been here since what? I guess it ain't been that long, but I would have thought folks would have grew up by now. So that's where I'm at with everything, y'all. Thank you guys for listening. With that being said, I'm out. Peace.